When Elliot returned to the villa after his late department lecture, I placed his favorite truffle pasta on the table. I wanted to tell him that my mother had finally relented and agreed to our marriage. Instead, he tossed his car keys onto the table and wearily tugged at his tie. I married my young Omega yesterday. What? My fork paused midair. Lila, the grad student I'm supervising, is pregnant with my child. She asked me to give her the status of my Luna. So, I went and registered our marriage with her yesterday afternoon. My voice trembled uncontrollably. Then what about these 8 years I dedicated to you? Elliot looked up at me, a slight smirk on his lips. If you're willing, we can still be family. You'll always be the person I trust most. I didn't cry. I simply picked up that steaming bowl of truffle pasta, walked to the kitchen, and poured it into the trash can. Elliot frowned, his alpha aura instinctively intensifying. Saren, I hate it when you're silently accusing. I'm already exhausted today. Can't you be more understanding? I turned to face him, deliberately ignoring the oppressive feeling. When did you register? He rubbed his temples, speaking calmly. Yesterday afternoon. Lila didn't have classes and the Elder Council was less busy, so we just went along. Yesterday afternoon, I was with my mother at the medical center for her checkup. She lay on the hospital bed, clutching my hand, saying, Saren, I've thought it through. If you truly want Elliot, then get married. Even though he comes from an ordinary background, he's looked out for us all these years. I almost teared up then, quickly texting Elliot. Mom agreed to our marriage. I've already booked the wedding for next week. He didn't reply. Turns out, he had already registered his marriage with another woman. I asked, does she know about me? Elliot was silent for 2 seconds. She knows, but she doesn't mind. She's young, insecure, and I wanted to give her a proper title to let her stand proudly by my side. Hearing his words, I felt my wolf inside me howling madly. I've been with you for 8 years, helped you handle the descent within the pack, supported you in becoming the alpha. All these years, what have I been to you? Elliot looked up at me, his eyes showing his usual arrogance. Saren, you weren't at a disadvantage either these past 8 years. And even if I have a Luna, I'll still give you some compensation. You can continue to live in this villa, and I'll continue to provide you with academic resources. Surely you're satisfied with that. I finally understood. His so-called compensation was to let me live in his villa, clean his house, and help him organize his research materials. My identity would just shift from a partner of 8 years to his and Lila's free housekeeper. I went into the bedroom to pack my things, and my hand stopped when I opened the closet. A row of unfamiliar girls' clothes had appeared inside. Pink knitwear, lace-trimmed dresses, and a pile of erotic lingerie. I picked one up and asked him, "Is she moving in?" Elliot stood in the doorway, his tall figure blocking the hallway light. Lila can't sleep alone in the dorm, so she'll sleep in your master bedroom from now on. You can stay in the guest room for now. I took off the engagement ring he had given me and placed it on the table. It was a silver ring he bought the year he first became Alpha, with our initials engraved on the inside of the band. He said that once things in the pack settled down, he'd replace it with a bigger, shinier diamond ring. Later, when his power was stable, he said he'd marry me after securing the key research project. But now he already had another Omega. I pulled out my suitcase, ready to leave. Elliot suddenly panicked. He hugged me from behind, the familiar scent of cedar wood enveloping me. Saren, I don't want to lose you. I'm just settling Lila in first. She's a child and can't be without me. You're different. You're mature, steady. You don't need me to protect you every second. Held by him, I only felt a wave of physiological nausea. The doorbell rang. Lila stood at the door, wearing a man's cashmere coat. I had waited in line for 3 hours to buy that for Elliot last winter. Elliot, I'm here to pick up our marriage certificate. Then she looked at me and smiled, revealing her sharp little canines. Saren, you're here too. I didn't speak. She walked into the bedroom as if she owned the place, pulling open the drawer of my bedside table. The marriage certificate was pressed under an old photo album. On top of the album, there was also a letter my mother had written to Elliot. She had just finished it yesterday and asked me to pass it on. The first line of the letter read, "Alpha Elliot, I entrust Saren to you from now on. May you protect her life's peace and stability and guard the White Pack well." Lila picked up the letter, blinking. "Is this from your mother to both of you?" "Oh, I'm sorry. Should I not be looking?" I reached out to take it, but Elliot snatched it away first. A corner of the letter was torn. Watching him shield Lila, I suddenly felt he was a complete stranger. I forcibly snatched the letter back. Lila cowered behind Elliot, her shoulders trembling slightly, as if she were frightened. Elliot soothed Lila, then turned to face me, his expression darkening instantly. "Saren, you're emotionally unstable right now. Don't go to the faculty tomorrow, and don't participate in the full professorship tenure review meeting either." I looked at him. "I'm an associate professor in the biology department. The full professorship review is decided by the university academic committee. It's not under your authority as department head. Furthermore, this is White Pack territory. You don't have the authority to ground me." Lila's tears started to fall immediately, her voice soft and trembling. "Saren, I really didn't mean to steal your things. I just love Elliot too much. I couldn't control myself." I laughed out loud. "Well, you certainly know how to love, loving enough to steal someone else's mate." Elliot lowered his voice, a warning in his tone. "Don't be so harsh. We're all members of the White Pack. If word gets out, other packs will laugh at us." My phone rang. It was the Pack's medical center. "Saren, your mother has suddenly shown early signs of organ failure, and her blood pressure is unstable. Please come immediately." I grabbed my bag and left. Elliot subconsciously followed. A flicker of warmth unexpectedly bloomed in my heart. Elliot wasn't completely heartless after all. And as the alpha of the White Pack, he had the power to mobilize the best doctors and top-tier treatment equipment. But the next second, Lila clutched her stomach and crouched down, letting out a soft whimper. "Elliot, I'm dizzy." "I didn't eat last night. The baby might be unstable." Elliot's footsteps stopped. He glanced at me, his voice reassuring. "You take a cab there first. I'll take Lila to the medical center's obstetrics department. I'll be there to join you soon." I didn't speak. As the elevator doors closed, I saw him scoop Lila into his arms, holding her carefully as if she were a priceless treasure. In the taxi, I called him 3 times. No answer. When I arrived at the medical center, my mother's face was ashen, and she was already semi-conscious. The nurse pushed a risk disclosure form in front of me. "Please sign. We may need to initiate organ suppression therapy or even resuscitation immediately." My hand trembled so much I couldn't write my name. For 8 years, Elliot always said, "From now on, your mom is my mom. White Pack's medical resources will always prioritize her." He said I didn't need to be afraid. He'd handle everything at the medical center. But when this day actually came, I was still the only one waiting outside the hospital room. Outside the emergency room, I opened my phone. The first post on the White Pack forum was from Elliot. In the photo, he and Lila held up their marriage certificate, both smiling happily. The caption read, "My love, my only Luna." The post time was when I made my 3rd call. Below it, many faculty members liked the post. Lila replied, "Thank you, everyone." Elliot said he's treating everyone to a big dinner tonight. I stared at that line, my palms slowly growing cold. When my mom woke up, her first question was, "Where's Elliot? Why didn't he come?" I flipped my phone face down in my palm. "He's handling urgent pack matters and can't get away." A family member of the patient in the next bed, an older member of the pack, suddenly leaned over. Alpha Elliot got married yesterday, Saren. Why wasn't the bride you? Look at the photo Alpha Elliot posted on the forum. She handed her phone to my mother. I didn't have time to stop her. When my mother saw the photo, her breathing suddenly became rapid and the monitor emitted a sharp alarm. I rushed out to call the doctor. As I ran to the nurse's station, I saw Elliot and Lila holding hands, distributing wedding favors to several familiar medical staff. He had brought Lila for her prenatal checkup and casually announced their marriage to acquaintances in the pack. Someone joked, "Alpha Elliot, you kept that quiet. You already have a child so soon?" Lila blushed and leaned against him. Elliot saw me and frowned slightly. "Why aren't you in the room looking after your mother? Don't you know she's not well? How can you be casually strolling around outside?" I threw my mother's critical condition notice in his face. "Elliot, how dare you say such a thing?" My mother just had an attack after seeing your post on the forum. The medical center lobby instantly fell silent. Lila's tears started again. She softly said, "Saren, don't blame Elliot. It's my fault. I insisted he posted on the forum." Elliot shielded her, his voice filled with anger. "This is the White Pack's medical center. Do you have to cause a scene here and let other pack members laugh at us?" I looked at the box of wedding favors still in his hand, and suddenly found it all very laughable. "How can you blame me? Didn't you insist on making your marriage known to everyone?" No one in the lobby spoke. Lila leaned behind Elliot, softly sobbing. Elliot lowered his voice. "Saren, don't disrupt the medical center's order, and don't jeopardize your own full professorship review. Don't forget, your mother's treatment plan still needs my signature and approval. You're the one disrupting the order. My mom is in the emergency room, and you're here celebrating your marriage." Someone bowed their head, pretending to sort through patient files. Lila suddenly covered her mouth and made retching sounds. "I want to throw up." The pack members nearby immediately started to tease. "Already having symptoms after just getting married? Alpha Elliot, you're quite something." Elliot's expression changed, and he immediately supported Lila. "Let's go for a blood test first to check the baby's condition." My mom was still in the emergency room, but he stayed by Lila's side, not leaving her for a second, as she went to get blood drawn. I stood at the lab window, watching him carefully label the blood collection vials himself, his actions painstakingly precise. Lila touched her stomach, smiling down. "I hope the baby grows up healthy." Elliot said in front of everyone, "Once the baby is stable, I'll give you a proper home and the most lavish wedding." I thought those words had nothing to do with me, until that evening when I returned to the Pax Alpha residence and saw an agreement on the table. Villa Residency Arrangement Agreement. It stated, to facilitate Lila's pregnancy, Saren voluntarily moves out of the master bedroom into the guest room and provides unpaid assistance with Lila's academic and pack-related living affairs. I held the paper and laughed for a long time. This villa was left by my father. It was the White Pack Alpha's exclusive territory. 8 years ago, when I supported Elliot's ascent, I voluntarily transferred ownership of the villa to him. I paid for the renovations, and I've been paying all the property management and maintenance fees all these years. Now he was making things very clear. The master bedroom for Lila. I had to give up the Luna title, and now even my bed. I asked, "What does this agreement mean?" Elliot sat on the sofa, fidgeting with the Alpha's crest ring. Lila is pregnant, and the master bedroom gets good sunlight, suitable for pregnancy. Plus, it's close to my study, so I can easily look after her. I spread the agreement in front of him. This is my father's villa. What about everything I've contributed to the pack all these years? He frowned. It's an 8-year relationship. Don't make it sound so ugly. We're all White Pack members. Why be so meticulous? Lila came out of the kitchen with water. She was wearing my apron, like a real mistress of the house. Saren, don't worry, I won't stay for free. I'll pay you $800 a month, okay? Just as rent. I almost laughed out of anger. 800? Are you kidding me? I picked up the agreement and tore it to shreds. Elliot suddenly grabbed my wrist, his grip astonishingly strong. I couldn't break free. If you continue like this, I'll have no choice but to transfer your mother to the general treatment ward. I looked up at him. The schedule for organ suppression therapy doesn't necessarily require my signature. The medical center's top physicians only follow the Alpha's orders. Also, the department's recommendation for your full professorship review was written by me. Lila suddenly stopped crying, standing behind Elliot, looking at me triumphantly. I slowly pulled my hand away. Elliot, are you threatening me with my mother's life and my future? He avoided my gaze. I just want you to calm down. Don't escalate this to the Elder Council. It won't be good for anyone. I nodded. Okay. I'll make you regret it. The next day, I went to the department as usual. The first thing I did in my office was to export all evidence of my support for Elliot's ascent to Alpha over the years. This included the votes I secured for him when he ran for Alpha, the chat logs of me handling the PAC's opposition, proof of my financial contribution to the villa, and records of my mother's medical information being managed by him. I uploaded each file to the cloud, making encrypted backups. Elliot sent me a message. Don't make a big fuss. Let's talk tonight at home. I'll make Lila apologize to you. I didn't reply. At 10 in the morning, Lila came to my lab. She handed me an experimental data report for her graduation thesis. Saren, this is my thesis data. Can you fast-track the review for me? The defense is next week. The students in the lab instantly fell silent. I said according to procedure, get your supervisor's signature, follow the department's normal review process, and queue up. Lila's eyes welled up. Saren, are you still mad at me? I really know I was wrong. I handed the report back. This is a lab, not your living room. Follow the rules. She bit her lip and left. To avoid any appearance of impropriety, I personally handed her report to the department secretary, ensuring every step was logged. The review results came out at noon. All her experimental data was fabricated. Lila's face changed instantly when she received the results. Half an hour later, news came from the department. Lila had fallen in the lab, bleeding from her lower body, possibly a miscarriage. A little while later, Lila appeared at the lab door, holding her stomach, supported by a classmate. Saren, you can hate me, but the child is innocent. The students' gazes at me changed. The dean also rushed over. Saren, please suspend your work and cooperate with a joint investigation by the university and the Elder Council. I said, check the lab surveillance, the data audit logs. All operations are traceable. Elliot interrupted me. Lila fell and miscarried because you provoked her. You knew she was pregnant, yet you deliberately made things difficult for her and rejected her thesis. I looked at him. How can someone who isn't even pregnant have a miscarriage? Lila cried, trembling all over. Elliot threw a stack of documents in front of me. The papers scattered. It was my mother's supplementary payment notice for organ suppression therapy and an application to adjust her treatment ward. He looked at me coldly. Kneel down and apologize to Lila right now. I guarantee your mom will still have access to top-tier treatment tonight, and I'll still write you a recommendation for your full professorship review. Everyone in the lab was looking at me. My full professorship. My mom's life. My 8 years of dedication. All pressured into one apology. I bent down to pick up the documents. At the bottom was one of Lila's medical reports. It read, no signs of pregnancy, no fetus present. I looked up at Elliot. Panic finally appeared on his face. Lila screamed, that's not mine. It's my classmate's. The next second, the dean's office door was pushed open. Representatives from the University Academic Committee and the Elder Council stood at the entrance. Associate Professor Sarin, you are suspected of academic suppression, fabricating experimental data, and causing a student's miscarriage. Please immediately accept a suspension for investigation.